doing a video walk around of this 85 Cobalt. It is 21 feet long. It was custom made for the original owners. I'll show you the plaque for it. Man, this thing has everything. It's going to take me a minute to go through all of it, but if you watch this video, it's going to answer a lot of your questions and let you know whether or not you even need to bother calling me to inquire about the boat. So if you don't watch this video, probably not going to sell you the boat because I don't want to go through it all. All right, it has surge brake systems that work just fine. It's a 4-prong adapter, 2-inch ball. They upgraded this winch. It's got dual speeds. You can actually pull this lever out, switch this over, and have it, instead of running against the big wheel, runs against this wheel for a low torque drive. So this goes to the cranking position, a neutral position, but this also will go to a backing position. So if you want to back it out slowly, it'll do that. Now, why you do that with a boat, I have no idea, but this mechanism was obviously made for more than just that. This is a brand new, I don't even know what these cost, but this is a ridiculously sweet cranking mechanism. Obviously the roller ball leg that flips up to get out of your way. Trailer is in amazing condition. It was made by Roadrunner. It has the weight rating on it, and it has the VIN stamped into it, as well as actually that's a different one right there, but it has the VIN stamped in and the manufacturer sticker. As you can see, this is in incredibly good shape. And this boat is really tall. It's really big. What I like about this is not only do we have these aren't the Chinese grease buddies. These are the good ones that originally came with these rims. So these guys don't fall out, but it's got new rims. All the brakes have been gone through, bearings have been taken out, greased, replaced. As you can see, this is Roadrunner trailers. This was made for this boat. It's kind of cool because this right here actually has a ladder built into it for you to get up there. All right. I like the metal side vents and not crappy plastic ones. There is a travel top, the tight fitting top that goes all the way around the open cabin and the front. It also has the metal poles to hold it up, to hold out rainwater, but they're not some crappy handmade wooden ones. They're actual metal poles that snap into the canvas cover that were made for it. This back here is all teak, but as you can see, it's a little faded. I'm gonna brighten that up before we do it. This has a little snap here for swim ladder. It comes down, and I like this one because it comes out and away from the boat at an angle, and you've got these to hang on to. I hate the ladders that come straight up and down, and there's nothing to grab onto, and they're a pain in the butt to get out of, especially if you're not a kid or you're young or flexible. It makes it really unfun. But with the angle of this, plus these metal rails, these aren't aluminum, these are metal, it makes it really easy to get on and off the boat, in and out of the water. Again, I put that snap back on it. Well, at least you know it's not going to come off accidentally. So one of the nice things about the guy I bought this from, he put this piece out here, and the battery's not turned on, but this up and down will raise and lower your outdrive. And you do that so that when you have to get out and check your boat, you don't have to hop in, run up to the shifter, raise it up, lower it down, or have it drop down and hit something so you can't see it. You can just do it right back here from the back of the boat. The guy I bought it from put a couple of extra features on this that are really nice. Okay. So this portion of that deck opens up so that you can work on your outdrive, because there's multiple spots for oil for the upper units, but this has all been serviced. This has all been serviced this year, so there's nothing that needs to be done to it this season. That's this little plastic coffee can that helps keep water from getting back up the exhaust or getting bugs and stuff in it, or wasps and stuff. I believe he said it was a 17-degree prop, which is what's needed for this boat when it's really loaded. There's some that can get you going a little bit faster, but you're going to spend more time planed up and not as much time cruising. your hitch for towing is right here. What these are also made for is when they bring them on the trailers, there's one on the front as well, which is really nice if you need to get towed back into shore. But there's one on the front and the back. What they do is they hook a hook here and one to the front, and since they're completely down the center of the boat, they just lift. You can just jack the boat up with those two things. So if you ever did really want to do anything with the boat, you just pop those up. Like I said, you just hook into there and you can lift the entire boat. This is obviously for your rear parking lights at night. That does work. Your gas tank, and really at this point we're just looking down the long axis. Now these, I guess, are called a stringer drive. These are the top of the line. These don't break. These are made of good stuff. These are amazing out drives, and they're pretty much bulletproof. I like the clean nature of the boat. There's like no scratches, no fading. I love the badges on it, all the original stickering on it, all the venting and stuff for it. It's just a really, really beautiful boat on an amazing trailer. So that right there makes this boat, to me, incredibly attractive. But let me go inside and start showing you these features. For 1985, this boat is absolutely loaded. It is kind of ridiculous, all the features on this. And it's brilliantly engineered. Okay, so for one thing, again, all teak. Now you've seen in some of the pictures longer shots of the boat, and it's hard to do with camera phone since they don't take as wide of pictures. Now the interior upholstery here, this back pad is original. This seat's been redone. The front pads of those seats have been redone, and all the leather in the front has been redone. It's pretty much seamless. I mean, if you're looking for it, you can kind of see it, but for the most part, it's about as good a match as you're going to get anywhere. I guess in this light, you can kind of see a slight transition, but with the darker colors changing in the boat, you don't even notice it. And honestly, if this is going to keep you away from this boat, then I think this is not a boat for you. You can just turn this video off right now, because this is a 1985. So it's great because it's got this big back pad there. That's almost like a single-sized bed. Then, a couple cool features I'm going to start with are these sides of this engine compartment. Look at all that storage space. Right there, that's the battery. There's two bolts there, and one bolt there, and the battery sits under there. Okay, and it's a little bit recessed down in there. Okay, but you've got a tremendous amount of storage space behind this. These doors right here, these open up. These open up all the way out to the side so that you can get pretty much easy access to the engine, and they're on both sides. Plus, look at all that access back there to work on this engine when stuff goes bad. There's like 2 fuses in the whole boat, and they're like right there. Everything else in the boat actually has a breaker switch, which is beautiful. So over here, you have a good spot for your life jackets, and there's a pad that goes right back there that's in the front of the boat right now. I'll show you the hours on it, and let's see if I can get the sun out of here. It says 608.9 hours on this. So obviously engine has been completely taken apart and gone through by the guy I bought it from. All new rotors and plugs and oil and everything's been gone over, but he said this thing was pretty much ready to go from the moment he got it. Really well taken care of. There's a little trick to getting this pad down here without breaking something. There we go. Next to, now again, this is all teak, and I'm going to go over this probably one more time before I turn it over, but each station here has speaker, cup holder, ashtray, and working lighter. Now obviously I'm hoping you're not smoking out on this boat, because this is just too nice to be smoked in, but you can charge your phones and stuff off that. You can run speakers, or everything runs off of, lighter adapters in cars and stuff. But there's one there, there's one right here, there's a cup holder and lighter right there, you got right here, there's a lighter right here. This light actually works. This is a map light. When you push this in, it can work as a lighter or it can work as an actual light. Before I get too far to the front of the boat, I want to show you this piece right here. And you see these two things right here. You go lift that up, lift this up, and you grab your handles and pull. I'm gonna set this down for a second and show you, because I can't do both. Now, here we go, let's bring it back. All right, as you can see, this slides forward. It is on rails. So you can technically get a whole bunch of more storage back here if you want. You know, cooler, whatever, camping. And you can see the rails there it's on. But what makes this really neat is that when you take off these straps, so there's these straps on the side, hook back here, pull this thing forward, undo these straps. Now that lays down into a bed. So you really have an amazing lounging on the lake kind of day going on here, because you still have that whole back pad, the entire swim deck, this, and there's still plenty of room behind the front seats. I mean, I can walk back here. It's not suddenly crowded. That's a nice thing about this boat, is that it is lots of space to move around, and because of the wide, deep nature of this hull, it's easy to walk around, okay? So, like my dad, who's not very mobile and has got bad knees and is 70, he can move around very well in this boat, and he is not falling over. He has things to hang on to. Okay, so moving forward from that awesome back, each one of these spots here has a little foot pedestal, and they both open up into a little bit of storage. Okay. Oh, these seats, they do swivel and turn around. They're nice, big, wide seats. Okay, so if you're a bigger person, don't worry about it. They also slide forward and back to get you closer or farther away from the shifter, depending on your height, which is something that's kind of rare. It doesn't happen all the time. Now I'm going to try to work from the back to the front on this, and I forgot about something here. What you're seeing on the floor here, this is the Bimini top. And I'll get pictures of that once I put it up. And like I said, this has full canvas cover on it. Okay, so this guy here is a live well right here, and there's a little drain. I mean, it's not a live well that pumps water, okay? But you could use it as a live well, just not an active one. Or me, I'm going to use it as a cooler, because this is not a boat I would fish in. It's too beautiful for stinky fish and bait, but it makes a fantastic in-floor cooler for, I'm sure, only sodas out on the lake. And that is one of the chambers on the floor. One of the other ones is right here. This is really cool. See, and all the wood here is teak, right? And as you can see, this one's been treated, so it's got that really nice, rich red color. They built ski rope holders into this thing, which I think is absolutely brilliant. And then you have this really big storage area. It starts right here, but it goes all the way to the front of the boat, and a lot of space. You could put skis and boards and stuff in here, whatever you need. That is a tremendous amount of space, very deep, completely dry, carpeted most of the way, and wonderful space for storing things. This wood has all been pulled up, sanded down, redone. That is real wooden doors. When this window is closed on this boat, my dad and I were just out there yesterday, and it was only about 35-40 degrees out, and this blocked the wind incredibly. And because it is such a deep boat, we didn't have that wind coming at us. We weren't cold. We were not cold at all, and it just went right over the top of us. This is going to take me a little second here. See, so that's the floor. Oh, so the rear lights, the rear navigation lights for when you're parked, is actually on a pressure hook under here. This comes out, plugs into the back, and these, if you don't know what they are, you use them when you're parked on a lake. When you're parked on a lake, you put that out there so other boats can see you. Your nav lights, your green and blue or red and blue up on the front, that's something completely different. I wish it was night so I could show you some of this. Anyway, speakers, new Pioneer speakers. This glove box is awesome. It is huge. I may or may not upgrade the stereo. It's just such a cool stereo. The antenna on this does work. There's an antenna out here that goes up, which I find entertaining. So there's just different little cubbies, lots of space right in here. Now, as you can see, this, Don and Betty Tippin. Oh, Tippin, that was on that front plate, the little metal plate that I thought was another VIN. It said Tippin. Well, Tippin are the people who bought this boat, and they custom designed it in 1985 for them. I mean, look at that. It's just really beautiful stuff. Now, coming over here to the driver's side, obviously you have your throttle. It goes neutral. This is actually pretty smooth. Now, on the back side of the throttle is where you trim the outdrive up and down when you're trailering it and coming into shallow water. Brings that up and down. Remember, we said there was a switch on the back of the boat that brought that outboard or the outdrive up and down? Well, this is the other spot that does that. This trims your engine out. All right, so once that outdrive is dropped down, it locks into place, and it doesn't go up again while you drive until you're into shallow water and need to raise it up, but you're not supposed to use that up under power. It's supposed to be down and locked into place so it can pull water and the gears can run appropriately. Here's your trim on this, and that you trim the motor. And this actually goes pretty quick. And the size of this boat, it moves really fast for the size of this boat. So all these gauges here work, and all these gauges I'm going to take you through. When you turn on the lights for inside you can turn the lights on just on the dash, and it lights up this guy and it lights up that guy. You can change lights on that, and this whole dash lights up. There's also interior lights where there's lights back there, and then on the other side there's a light under here, and I think there's a light up front. So you actually have these interior lights. It's really cool. So you have your volts. This charges at about 15 volts. The alternator is really strong. That's your trim up and down, true to form. Oil pressure, I think it's a quart low, but it was still running good oil pressure. Your temperature gauge, I ran this at 4,000 RPMs, 5,000 RPMs, just to see if it would go up, and it never even got up to that 120 mark. Gas gauge does work, but right now it's not turned on, so none of these gauges are. That's a clock. That is a working clock, which I think is just really fun. There is your speedometer. It does work. I turned on my GPS on the lake, and the speedometer is accurate. And your RPMs, I have to believe they're accurate because it sounded like it was running appropriately. So you have a really, really nice, oh my God, compass. Really nice fish finder and depth finder, as well as a built-in Lawrence depth finder system, which the controls for are right here. And between the two of these, they're brilliant. You're never going to run yourself into ground. These here, your auxiliary, this actually turns on the wiper blades. This turns on your front nav lights up there. They do work. Interior lights, that's pretty self-explanatory. And your dash lights turns on, obviously, this stuff here. Now, these white buttons here, these are circuit breakers. There are no fuses here. So if you pop a circuit, you just come up here and press that in, and it works like a circuit breaker. And when you activate one of these things, these red lights turn on to show that they're active. And here's your horn. Again, no power. Okay, so these guys up here on top of them, that's important because if your voltage is running too high, that warning light will pop on. They're like an engine warning light. Same thing here. If your oil pressure gets too low, the light will come on. Your temperature, if it gets too hot, light will come on again. And when your fuel gets low, it lets you know as well. So you have like a warning light, so this stuff isn't going to sneak up on you. Oh, these are kind of cool right here. There's one on each side, and when you turn on your dash lights, a little light comes on here, and a little light comes on there to help illuminate your switches here. Over here is another auxiliary. This runs, I believe that guy. This one runs, this one runs, what does this one run? I forget right now. And then you got your bilge pump, which works, and your blower as well. Oh, this is really cool. On the steering wheel, see these numbers? Let's see if you can see these numbers right here. Yeah, 0. As you turn it, 1, 2. So you can figure out, and when you go back to 0, right up. See, let's get that line back to 0 there. Now you know your steering wheel is straight. You don't have to guess. I mean, granted, this thing is pretty maneuverable, so that you'll know if it is. Oh, hang on. This right here is for this lighter. Now, these are original. These are actually collector's items. This is see, it's a light. It's called a map light. And it's a 2-stage switch. What you can do is, when you push this in, there's a little switch on the side here that turns the light on and off. And it just shines a light right down here, like as if you're reading a map. Right? Now, if you push the center in, that engages the legitimate lighter on the inside of it. So it has the lighter in here does actually work. So there is yeah, those are collector's items. They don't normally work on boats. This one does, and it has a breaker for that one as well. Obviously, here is the key. Now, I've already run the boat and done a live version of me running this on the other thread, so I'm not going to fire the boat up again just because it's going to get cold out. Today it's like 70 and beautiful. Tomorrow it's going to be into the 40s and 50s and snowing. So in Colorado it's crazy here. So I've got it winterized. Which is something else I got to show you. So I'm not going to turn it on in this video, but you already heard it run. It fires right up. Muffs pull just fine. Oh, the outdrive here, this outdrive actually turns almost completely sideways. You can 360 this boat in place, like you're spinning on a dance floor. That outdrive turns almost completely sideways, and this boat just will spin in a circle. It's super freaking cool for the maneuverability. He put on here, he put some valves back here, quick valves for winterizing your boat. You open them up, dumps the water. He's also got the tab down there, which is what you just twist it, and it's a hollow screw, so it drains out of there. So it's very easy to winterize your boat because you just undo that one so the water drains, undo that, just turn that thing, and that drains out the water, and you're pretty much done. In the winter, when you're done, you can take off this bottom hose and drain the last of it out of here. Now, these have brass impellers. The impeller is built into the front of the engine. You're not going to have to replace the rubberized one as long as you keep the water out of there, so it's not going to rust on you and corrode over time. These impellers never need to be changed. But in order to do so, you got to take off all these pieces on front of the engine, and they're not really cheap. But they're also not meant to break. So as long as you take care of this boat, you're never going to have to mess with an impeller, which is personally one of my least favorite parts of owning a boat as far as maintenance goes. Oh, these do snap down here to hold it down for travel. Yeah, that outdrive, like I said, turns pretty much sideways. Let's go back forward. Now when you get into here, I think this is really great because you have these little side cubbies. Now, they don't look very big. I mean, they're maybe 10 inches wide. But let's see if I can get in here. They have hangers for you to hang life jackets or jackets and stuff if you want to go out when it's cold. Now, this goes back quite a ways. I mean, that's probably the length of my leg going back there. Very, very tall. And then it also turns the corner here and is open all the way up to the front of the boat. My friend's son, who's about 6, actually crawled through here. He came in this door, crawled around the front of the boat there, and came out this other door. So you really could like basically smuggle things in here. But you have 2 of these. And again, it has a hanger set up in here. Nice wide, and runs all the way forward. And as you can see, this is carpeted. This is all carpeted. There's no water damage in here at all. And these, being this really pretty teak wood, are incredibly attractive and fantastically useful. And again, I love the wood accents in here. Now you just take this up, open these doors. Now these doors have a strap. Everything in this boat is accounted for. There's a strap under here. Comes over. Oh yeah, hang on. You gotta, on this one, you have to drop this thing back down again to get under that. Okay? So if you leave this in the up position, it hits this piece of wood here, and it doesn't allow the strap to very easily come over and snap. Same thing on the other side. Sorry, I'm really close to this, so this is probably looking like a stupid blur. But, yeah. So now, you have a nice big walkthrough. And another thing I like is they have these metal arms here, and this is a nice thick metal. These aren't flimsy at all. So you have like a big person like my dad, who's a larger guy, and he comes walking up here, and he's trying to keep his balance. He's grabbing onto these things, and they're bending and breaking and stuff, and this won't do that, right? Don't be load bearing, but don't worry about it. Anyway, something also very important on this is all of these windows are straight. They're not curved. Even though this has an arc on it, these windows are flat. And if anyone has broken a window on new boats that have the curved windows, they're almost impossible to find, and they're incredibly expensive when you do. If these breaks, you can just go and get some plexiglass and drop it in, or just have a glass company come out and put something in. If any of these break while I own it, I'm putting back in some really nice plexiglass, because that stuff's going to handle any highway debris thrown at it. The travel cover on this will shield that windshield. And if I have this long enough before it sells, me and my mom, we sometimes do upholstery work. We're going to create a travel cover that just covers up the windshields. Because we only drive about 45-50 minutes down the interstate to go to our lake, but that's still enough to damage the windshield, but not enough that I want to put the entire travel cover on. It's kind of a pain in the butt, but I do want to protect these windshields. Now up here, this is one of my favorite parts of it. It has the center pad in it. Right, now this is not the biggest front end. Don't let this be deceptive. It is a smaller front end for the size of this boat, which when I saw this last year, I originally walked away from this boat because I didn't appreciate it. I was too new to boating. That was 2 years ago, sorry. But this front end for me was a little too short. I did not know at the time, look at that custom woodwork. I did not know at the time that this had this center pad here. This was open. So when I came up here, I have some taller friends and some bigger family, and all I could see was that this was really short and not a lot of fun. Because for me, riding in the front of a boat is part of the fun to be had here. So this just seemed like such a small front end. I'm only about 5'7", and I'm sitting straight up and down, and my feet barely touch the side, and didn't really feel like people could really hang out up here until you throw in. Remember I said there's a space back in the engine? This stores back in the engine compartment. Actually, you'd flip it over, but it fits back in the engine compartment behind the life jackets. Okay, but I prefer it up here. I'm gonna put this down and put it back. So it just drops in there like that, and now this is like a bed. And I wish you could get a good video of it, but now you can sort of lounge in it, right? And you can hang out, and you can put 2 or 3 people up in here, or one really big person. How you doing? And a lot of people sometimes don't like being in front of a boat because it bounces around a lot and they feel tossed around. But in this boat, because of the hull shape and the size of it, you don't get bounced around. This is an incredibly smooth place to ride. And this bed pad here makes it a lot of fun. Again, you see the custom accents up here, your running lights. You again can use this in case you need to be towed or something. But again, this is for lifting up the boat. They said the metal rails, not the aluminum rails. See how these are welded too? These are welded rails. These are not the ones where you have the little cheap joiner pieces. These are legitimately solid. And then obviously you see the snaps for the running tarp. Hang on. The middle piece dropped out on me, so I wasn't paying attention. That doesn't normally happen. I did that. Here we go. There we go. All right, so I think take a look back at the boat. Kind of looks messy from this picture. Okay, so lastly, I'm going to take you back here, and then I'm going to show you this. I thought was really cool. You have the original stern drive, the engine manual, and these all have like wiring diagrams and schematics and how to pull this thing apart. Here's another one, owner's manual, that also has schematics and stuff in it. Man, the wind is making this no fun. The original owner's manual for it, as you can see, and it has all the steps A lot of information, electrical wiring diagrams, all. See, I mean, this is just incredibly valuable information. I'm going to line these all up here, take a picture of them for the thing. And then you have, don't need that. Yep, there's sensor, stereo. Here's the owner's manual for the trailer. Here's the operator's manual again for the stern drive. And a little stereo manual. I'm going to put this right here. I'm going to line these up and use the video, take a picture of them. So you really do have all of there we go. All right. So you have all the information to maintain, care for, and pull everything apart. Again, this is 21 feet. I think it's like 86 inches wide. It's got plenty of room, plenty of storage, bimini top, custom leather, custom everything. This is all the amenities of modern boats going for $25,000, $30,000, $40,000. But in this classic look, this beautiful teak and leather wood finish, the classic carpeting. I mean, this is just like a James Bond sort of boat. That's what I might start calling this thing, because this is just gorgeous to me. So thank you for watching the video and bearing with me. I think I'm like 30 minutes into this. My phone's probably gonna shut down because too long of talking, and hope you enjoyed it, and talk to you soon.